Hey team, wanted to make a video because I just finished another audiobook. It was called Nona the Ninth. I will say there were a few times when I was listening, and because it was an audiobook, sometimes my attention did stray a little bit. I also was told that it is not the first in the series. It is a series, and it has other pieces with individuals that are so it's a companion piece. And so I did not internalize that when I started listening, and so I do not know what happened in the other books, and so I don't know how that plays into the storyline, how that interacts with the characters, and because I feel like some of the interactions were could have had more meaning because there were other books in the series, and so I bear that in mind. I just grabbed it because a friend had it on her list of books to read, and I was looking for something, and so I checked it out. But it was interesting. I'd say it was definitely different from anything I've ever really read. It involved necromancers as like a science. And I have read a series involving necromancers previously. It was a long time ago, so I don't really remember too many of the nuances of that story. It was again a series, but I did read this one, and it was interesting because one of the individuals was an aide in a school environment, and they were trying to make the best of that situation. So they were but they were she the story is following Nona. They don't know who she is or where she came from, really. She was pulled kind of from the other and put into this body, and they weren't sure if it was the soul of the body or if that was or it was someone else. They didn't know who she was, and so they were kind of observing her over time. She doesn't know who she is either. We kind of find out later who she is, but she is unique in that she's trying to reestablish who she is. She doesn't like eating, she doesn't like drinking, and there are interesting nuances about her character. She is learning about love again, and so she's very childlike in how she interacts. The body that she's in is like a 19-year-old or so, but they are kind of experimenting with her, taking notes on her, observing her, trying to kind of figure out who she is, where she came from. So, so she's an aide in school. She hangs out with younger folks and gets kind of collected by them and put in their gang of kids. So she hangs out with them, kind of. She takes care of the teacher's dog named Noodle. It's very cute that they are, kind of becoming this cast of characters together, but there is a side plot of obviously the necromancy and of kind of the magic, the healing that happens, where a companion gets murdered in front of Nona, and Nona has to kind of hide away. So she hides underwater. She's shot as well, but she has this fast healing that occurs. And we don't know the specifics exactly what her powers are, but she does heal very, very quickly. And she saw one of her family friends that she is a favorite of hers, and gets shot quite extensively and ripped up by a gang, and so they take her and they heal her. She ends up joining with one of the other people who is also a necromancer, and so the relationship there is arguable, where she is gone now, she is dead, but she is alive in that she is being necromanced, or she is, sharing the body with this other individual. And they have joined, they have come together, they have combined into one. So it's confusing. One of them is learning soul work, is what they were talking about, and figuring out, because because of the necromancy, they can control dead bodies, and they can kind of save people, and it was unique in that. Then because there's this whole like revolution, because there's a prince that is necromanced and in a dead body, and he starts to call out orders, and then life as they know it kind of diminishes. Like it goes to crap essentially, and the school has to close, the kids have to stay home, everyone is terrified because it's like revolution again. And so from there, Nona kind of rejoins the adults, and they have these interactions that are more nuanced, where they're talking with other necromancers. They come into contact with the prince, and they are just talking about kind of origin story things. We find out who Nona is. We find out what, the prince's story, what he wants, and it's Nona is a fascinating character, where John created her, and there are biblical nuances to it. There's a gang that is references Eden, and then John is, it could be an allusion to the biblical John, and I haven't thought about it that deeply to pull actual other thought processes in that, but just looking at Nona's character and how he tried to pull her and create her, kind of as the world was dying. He said he ate soil, and he pulled from the ribs almost as though he were God, and he created her body, and that's probably a major spoiler, but yeah. So it was unique, I think, because some people are very anti the zombies, anti necromancy, anti playing with the dead, resurrecting them, and some people take it, and I am resurrected, and my father is resurrected in another human being, and so on and so forth, and it's kind of like a legacy thing, and so a power thing too, perhaps, but it's unique, and just something that I hadn't really encountered too much of, is this ease, discussing dead bodies, and like Nona gets shot, and she just heals right back up, and she even gets killed by one of her best kid friends, and then back up, and she's fine, and so it's just it's very strange, this ease of talking about manipulating and using dead bodies, and how commonplace it feels, but could do some more research into it, could read the other books to get more context potentially, and more world building stuffs, about, because like we learned that Nona lives in a particular like project area versus the other kids, and the kids, a lot of them are in poverty, um, that at the school, and don't have parents, and their names are very peculiar. Like Nona is from her yelling no 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 no, when she is discovered, and so they said Nona, um, and so it's unique. It's an interesting story. Um, it makes you think a little bit. In the modern era, I guess you could argue quite a bit more, but um, I'd probably want to get the paper copy, and do that extra digging, and pay a little more attention to the specifics of Eden, and the necromancy, and what the goal, what the overarching of the series is. And so overall, though, I think it was very unique. So I am pleased to have read it. It's material, like I said, that I wouldn't normally approach per se, and so um, I think that was good to stretch my boundaries. And um, I that's it for now. So if you have read the book, if you have input or ideas about it, definitely let me know. I am going to put a spoilers warning on this just because I did read it, and one of my friends, it was on her to read list, and so I'm gotta put the brakes on because she wanted to read it. So, but that's it for now. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.